the Queensland courts have decided that a planned protest can't go ahead on the Story Bridge behind me because they've deemed it would be unsafe for it to go ahead. Now, the background to this is that the Justice for Palestine group had applied for a permit through the Queensland Police Service to hold the march on Sunday across the bridge. However, the Queensland Police Service denied that permit on the grounds that they were worried that they couldn't control the crowd on the bridge, and specifically that they couldn't prevent people from entering the footpaths which are on the side of the Story Bridge. Now, they've been closed for a number of months and are in need of major structural repairs. And so the QPS and Justice for Palestine went through a series of negotiations to try and see if there was an alternative location. However, one was unable to be decided upon through mediation, and so that's how this ended up in the courts. Now, the Justice for Palestine group, you can see why they would want to hold it on the iconic Story Bridge, because they were partly inspired by what happened down in Sydney when 90,000 odd people marched across the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and it created such powerful imagery. Now, unfortunately for the Brisbane group, that what happened in Sydney partly worked against them, because the New South Wales Police gave evidence to the courts here in Brisbane to say that the organisers of that event had expected a much smaller crowd, and it was actually very difficult for New South Wales Police to control such a big group. So in part, that is part of the reason why the Queensland courts decided that this march on Sunday couldn't go ahead. Now, Justice for Palestine says they're very disappointed with the court's decision. However, they are respectful of the magistrate who made it. They say they're still weighing up their options for how to proceed and whether an event will go ahead on Sunday. However, we understand that an alternative permit for an alternative location has not been applied for. The QPS has not assigned members of staff to patrol any protest that does go ahead, and because one has not been approved, if there is a march and it does block a thoroughfare, it will be illegal, and those who take part, Emma, will risk arrest.